Today is a different kind of video, and I have been so excited for this video, like for the longest, because you finally get to see my studio. My studio! Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. She's gotten a glow up. She's clean and fresh. And I'm pretty excited to show you all of the different areas within my studio, how I store things if you haven't seen those videos already, and just some sweet, personal things in my studio that will kind of introduce you to a little more about me and kind of get my way of maybe thinking or things that I cherish, and also some of my favorite places or little spots in the studio. So I cannot wait to introduce you to my studio space. Okay, so when you normally tune into one of my Mosaic videos, I'm sitting right here at this table. I've got a stool, I'm sitting, I'm talking to the camera, which is normally on this tripod, and you see the background behind me with all of the containers full of Tesserae. I've got some substrates there as well. And so this is what you see every time you tune in to one of my sit-down tutorials. So a little lay of the land here. I have some markers. I've got these smaller containers where the lids lock in, and these are like smaller sort of rhinestones and brads and smaller pieces of glass tile and cutoffs and that sort of thing. I do have a sweet candle called Super Mom from my son. Smells amazing. Over here, I've got tons of pencils. We always need pencils from time to time. I have some tubes of adhesive. I've got lots of wood craft sticks and toothpicks. I've got some pliers and such. And then over on this side, I've got paper towels and glass rods. Of course, I've got an orchid because if you follow me on Instagram, you know I love orchids. So, of course, I've got an orchid on my table. And I've got a water bottle because from time to time, we do need water just to like clean off our hands or whatever. Underneath my work table, I have two thinner, smaller filing cabinets, so to speak. I'm just calling them filing cabinets because they look like they're miniature. They're not deep like filing cabinets. They've got thinner drawers, but those are full of tools and all sorts of stuff. I guess I could just probably do a video just on what really is on my table and in the drawers, because that's a lot of storage. But anyways, I do love those. They keep things handy, but kind of out of sight, because I don't always use those tools and such. And so that's pretty much it as far as my sit down sort of studio space that you see in videos, and you see what's going on behind me. Let me show you close up what's going on in these containers behind me. Okay, so what I have going on behind me when you watch my sit down videos are just shelves and shelves of Tesserae. So this is sort of all of my Pique Assiette, but then it kind of continues on over here. I've got things like silverware, terracotta, rock stone slate, stone and marble, Christmas plates, Pique Assiette flowers, terrazzo tiles, 4x4 ceramic tiles, plates, ceramic shapes, ceramic and porcelain circles, solid ceramic, smalty, ceramic, miscellaneous glass shapes. This is all vitreous glass tile. This is sort of miscellaneous glass tile. I've got a ton of porcelain tile in different sizes. And these are my stained glass shards. And then all up on the top shelf are things that I don't need to get to very often. So it might be some of the stationery goods for my studio, like printed postcards, printed note cards, that kind of thing. I do have some substrates, and I have Christmas props for my still images. I've got some other substrates. I've got some grout sealer and other adhesives. So it's just sort of a mishmash. Down here is more storage, some of my finished mosaic pieces, as well as lots of, you can see the wood substrates here. And I've got some gift bags. I used to do art shows. I'm not doing art shows anymore, but I still have the gift bags, which have come in handy from time to time, especially when your kids are younger and they're always going to parties or whatever. And then over here, I've got cardstock and like large sheets of cardstock and that sort of thing, more gift bags. So it's just sort of a mishmash, yet I know what's here. And you may notice that I've got labels on everything. I love my label maker. And so I like to have everything labeled so that I know what's inside. If I have a Post-it note, like I see a Post-it note here, that's a temporary box or temporary container. And I see that that is for a video later this year. And so that's just a temporary thing. I don't need a label for that. I'm not going to waste the label on that, I should say. But also it does catch my attention because I don't normally have Post-it notes on my boxes. So if I have a Post-it note, it gets my attention and I'm like, oh, what is that? Oh, okay, I've got one here that I need to use these particular glass tiles on a particular substrate, which is coming up. So that's kind of the method to my madness, labels versus Post-it notes. So yeah, I want to turn your attention to something I really, really love. Okay, so I'll go over what's back in this corner in a minute, but I wanted to call your attention to this mobile here. Mobile? What would we call this? Anyways, it is a Halloween mosaic mobile that I made, and I absolutely cherish this mobile. I love it. The little ghosty and the witch's hat and the little jack-o'-lantern and a bat and a black cat. And I made it by going outside. I have a number of oak trees. And so I just gathered up some sticks, sturdy sticks from the oak tree after probably one of our tropical storms or hurricanes, and just wrapped wire around it. And I absolutely love this thing. I am so glad it hangs year round. I do not care that it's not Halloween all the time. I love when I turn and it catches my eye. I absolutely love it. It makes me just smile. So anyways, that's why I've got Halloween decorations hanging in my studio, because I will not put it away. I love it. It's got a permanent hook there, and yeah. And that is one thing you'll notice about my studio. I don't have a whole lot of my work hanging up. My studio has gone through different iterations. At one point, I had a lot of my work up on the wall, and we'll get to that area. Maybe I can even find pictures of when my studio had all my work up on the walls. But when I moved everything out of here to paint the walls and do something different with the flooring, I guess I should point out what I did with the flooring. I decided when I loaded everything back in here, I didn't want all of my work up on the walls. There is a display here, which we'll get to, but I am looking for pieces from other artists. I would love for this over here. Not sure if you can see it. Let's move you, shall we? Okay, so this is a nice big wall. I would love for other people's work to be up on this wall. I'd like to put up a few pieces of my dad's work. My dad did a number of different creative things, including mosaic art. Maybe if I can find like a smaller quilt by my mom. My mom's a quilter. But anyways, I want other people's work on the wall because I get inspired by seeing other people's work. And so that's why this is a blank wall. I am not just going to put anything up to put anything up. I want it to be something special and something that means something to me. And so I'm holding out until I see just the right thing. But let's talk about what's going on in this corner, and then we'll talk about this wall of stuff here. So back in this corner, I have a bunch of oversized cardboard, and actually some bigger pieces of tile that are literally like, I don't know, 3.5 feet, 4 feet big, tall. But I have oversized pieces of cardboard here, mostly for my still images that I take for product shots or maybe some for social media. And so I need to keep those, but I do have like 3 here that are super oversized. I have nowhere else to put them, so they're just sort of like leaning here, and I think they're an eyesore, but I need them. So that's that. We will deal with that, live with it rather. And then around this corner, I've got a ton of tote bags. I love tote bags. I love me a tote bag like I love me a notebook. And so I do have to be discerning because of my love of tote bags. Like I only have one arm for a tote bag and then the other for a purse, and so whatever. So these are some of my absolute favorites that I have kept. One that my son made me in preschool. I've got one from when I used to be a dancer. And I've got one from college, one for my business, Mosaic Madness. This one is also Mosaic Madness Studio Miami. I've got my travel totes. So really, I've got a tote for every possible need, but I do love me a tote bag. Like, yes. Also here, I have a bunch of extra of the plastic storage containers. And that's because throughout time, things change. Sometimes you use up all of a material and you no longer need that storage container, or you give away things or whatever. And sometimes you get in more tesserae and need extra storage. So, anyways, this is my sort of fluid storage system. I always have extra storage containers for, whether it's tesserae or let's say I'm working on a project and I just need to put everything back in the container for that time or whatever. I've got that. They are sitting on a stool that my dad made me when I was really, really little. So that is it looks just like, it's just a plain white stool. It's so cherished to me because my dad made it. So I love that. And there is one of my mosaics here. I totally forgot about this. Do you do that as well? Do you like make mosaics and then you like don't photograph it? Like if you're making it to sell it, but you like don't carry the ball over the goal line of photographing it, getting it uploaded to your shop or your site or whatever. I am so guilty of that. It is on my list for this year, but I did find another mosaic that I've never photographed, never put up for sale or anything like that. So, anyways, toxic trait. Okay, so this is 2 sets of cabinets. They were unfinished wood, and I painted them this blue that I love. This is actually a ring light that I normally use for filming my videos. And so this is just like storage. I've got a lot of ribbons. I love ribbon. I guess that's another toxic trait of mine. I love ribbon. Obviously, I used to be really big into making mosaic ornaments. Now I'm not so much, except for like clients who ask for it. But I do love ribbon. And when I think about things that I like to look at that inspire me, I can look at ribbon. I can go to the ribbon section at a fabric store and just be enamored with all the ribbons. Even if I never use them, or it's very inspiring to me. Anyway, so I've got a ton of ribbons. They are in different sized glass vases. I used to have them in racks, and that rack, those 2 racks and we did not get along. They're very hard. The dowels are very hard to get in and out of the racks. And so I said, no, thank you. I'm done. All done. So got rid of those. I'm loving this so much better. And then these are my reflectors for filming. But I've got my craft paint, craft paint storage that I love. This is so much fun. And then here over in the corner, I have a like double Decor wire storage thing, 2-tiered thing. I've got a bunch of brushes. I've got some like Elmer's glue for something else, and then I've got a bunch of sealer for the paints. So I've got all this stuff together in these cabinets. I've got extra paper, extra cardstock. All of my beads are in here. And what else do I have? That's pretty much it. Stationary stuff. Hole puncher, that kind of stuff. I like office supplies. That's another toxic trait. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get this side put back together, and we're going to move over behind you here. I'm just going to flip you around. I feel like it's a little dark over here, but hopefully you can see me okay. So over here in the corner in this cabinet, I'm not super jazzed about the cabinet, but obviously you can see I was very limited on the size, and it does fit perfectly. So that is where I have some more adhesives, but it's also where I keep like my gloves for grouting, or my painter's tape. I work with resin, so resin is in there. What else do I have in there? Wood. I see wood filler, oil for my glass cutters. I said adhesive. I see straws, cups. So like that sort of stuff. And then, like I said, I don't have very much of my artwork hanging, but I do have these. And I did do a video on creating mixed media mosaics. These are framed mixed media mosaics. And in that video, I did make a red one, which is now in my son's room. Looks pretty similar to that. But anyways, I've got these hanging. My dad and I made 3 of these racks for my art show display. And because my dad's no longer with me, I could not bear to get rid of the racks. So I wanted to do something with them. I've got another one back in that corner. But so, anyways, I just thought this was fun. Hang the racks and then hang some artwork on them because I don't do art shows anymore. And I love how it has come together. And so underneath that, this is my waffle cutting grid. I've got all of my glass cutters here and my running pliers and just all of that sort of stuff. Usually, though, I don't cut the glass over here. You see how dark it is over here. I normally just pick this whole thing up, go to my work table, do all of my cutting, and then I eventually just put it back over here. But I could easily cut glass over here. I just, for whatever reason, I don't. I've got a scale for when I need to ship packages. I also have I was going to call this a banding, what is this? Like a potter's wheel or whatever. But when I deal with like 3D mosaic items that I need to like turn around and all of that. Even 2D. I mean, I could easily see if I needed to tile something on the edge. This is super helpful. So it turns around kind of like a raised lazy Susan, basically. But a potter would put their thing on there, like a sculptor or whatever would put their substrate on there and do their thing. So I love this. This is mostly shipping supplies, so shipping boxes, bubble wrap, and that sort of stuff. And then over here, I have a drill press with some stuff waiting to be drilled. And so I've got a drill press, and then starts this area here. So let me swing you around so you can see what's going on over here. Okay, so this is an area that gets me so excited for a number of different reasons, but we'll start with the top first. So obviously, as I said, I've got a drill press, I've got a ring saw, and I have 2 grinders. So I have one for glass and I have one that I use for ceramic. And so I'm in the process of, I'm not super happy here. I'm looking for like 2 trays to set these in and then get my screens around the back. So this is a work in progress, but I'm excited. And I'm excited because I've cleared a path so that when I'm working at my table, I can come over here now. If you're curious what I'm talking about, you should go back and watch my last video where I showed you the absolute pigsty that my studio was, and now I've got it cleaned up, and now I can work at my table and walk around and grind glass or whatever and then go back. It's just much more efficient rather than going all the way around the table. I've got my candle burner, which I love my candle burner, and then I've got 2 caddies full of stained glass sheets. So I love these things. I love being able to look in there and see what I have, but also I love sitting at my work table and looking over and seeing the colors. It makes me so excited. This next, or I should say this first row of storage, and you will see that it's looking like Christmas, and that's because these are all glass ornaments that I break and use in my artwork. So I've got it just makes me so happy. I love all the colors. I've got them in all sorts of shapes and sizes, and just waiting for me to break them, which I love. And then down on this bottom level, these are all substrates, and they're all marked. So for instance, wood shapes, frames and mirrors, wood substrates, frames. Those are some uh, feather substrates down there. And down here, I do have a couple containers for some special people in my life who may or may not be getting a mosaic sometime. And I won't show you a close up of those, but there's a label with their name on it, and I keep collecting things to go in there. But yeah, this is a fun little area that I love, and it brings me a lot of joy and inspiration to look over here and see all those colors. I love it. Okay, so besides my work table, this is like one of my favorite places to be, at my desk with my computer. And I've got a tray underneath this is just a basic, I don't know, it's from IKEA. I don't know if this is a dining table or a desk table. I don't remember. But then I do have one set of the drawers that you can buy with the IKEA. It's got to be a desk, right? It's got to be a desk. So I think this is a desktop. But I love sitting here. I've got a bunch of pictures of my son, who, is obviously my pride and joy. And I've got some little tchotchkes around, a couple of my mosaics here. But when my son was little, he loved Pluto. So I've got a Pluto keychain, a leather Pluto keychain from Coach that we picked out at Disney on a trip. And then you may see I've got some Batgirls in here. Lego Batgirls. My son went through a phase where he would sometimes refer to me as Batgirl, which was adorable. Adorable. And he got me this Batgirl keychain. I don't remember if we were at a Lego store, but he picked it out. And then sadly, when he started getting out of Legos, he brought me his Batgirls. And so, which I thought was very sweet, but I thought, no, we're out of Lego. But anyway, so I have my Batgirls here. I think I have a couple others. But anyways, I've got my Batgirls. And then back here, I've got my content calendar for my business. I've got that all set up. And then let me swing you around here. And then back behind me is a file cabinet that has a table over it. I got both of these from CB2, and I loved the look of the white cabinet with the wood table. It wasn't a set, but obviously they're showing you, hey, you could have this. And I was like, yeah, I do. I need that. I want that. So anyways, I love it. I love the look. And I found this kind of recently, but it's like an embroidered piece of art. So that's really fun. And then I've just got some books that I want to read coming up. I'm currently reading How Are You Really by Jenna Kutcher. So I know I'm late to the party. That came out like a year ago, but whatever. And so coming up is The Mountain Is You by Brianna Weist, Atomic Habits, Never Eat Alone, The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, Hug Your Haters, Everything is Figure Outable, Becoming by Michelle Obama, How to Get Done. So anyways, that is sort of my up next. I do want to read I want to get the Mel Robbins book. Let them. But anyways, this is sort of my, printer and sound system for stereo. So this is sort of my little, what I will call my grand central station, I guess. I don't know. I love sitting here, um, and working and looking at what's behind you, but I'll switch you around and show you it's so nice to sit here and in my peripheral vision see what's going on this wall. This is probably might be my most favorite wall, but anyways, I'm going to swing you around and we're going to talk about why that is. Oh, I should say that back here is a bulletin board full of things. I've always been a collector. I love to collect things. If I go on a trip and I see something that has a cool color combination, or obviously maybe it was a ticket to an event I went to or whatever, and it means something, I will put it up here. All of my voted stickers and tags from things I've purchased. Colorado stickers. I see a bunch of Colorado stickers. Miami Dolphins, Florida State Seminoles. Those are my teams. And Madonna concert tickets. And movie passes to Star Wars and photos and just things that my dad had a VW Beetle when we got rid of the car after he passed away. The VW front insignia fell off and I did not put it back on. So I've got my dad's VW emblem or logo from the front of his Beetle, and that means a lot to me because he loved that car. So let me swing you around and I'm going to show you this wall that I love so much. So this is the view I see when I'm sitting at my desk. I'm seeing all of the colors of the books on the top shelf. Yes, I'm a little obsessive, but I love things in rainbow order. It's inspiring to me to see colors in rainbow order, things in rainbow order. You get what I'm saying. So anyways, I've got books lined up, or actually, let me talk about the top shelf. If you can see over in the right corner, those are gold metallic Converse sneakers with taps on the bottom. Fun fact, I used to be a dancer. At one point, we were professional dancers. And so one of our routines was called Rap Tappin'. And yes, I tapped in Converse sneakers. They're very, very cool and just highly unusual. I've gotten rid of 98% of all of my stuff from dancing, but I did, of course, keep those. So I love being able to look from my desk up at those sneakers and nostalgia. The other boxes are just extra office supplies, stuff like that, post-it notes, that kind of thing. And then I've got a really nice marker set, Prismacolor marker set from my best friend. And there's a Batgirl, Dopey. I love Dopey from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Disney's version. I don't think I'm going to be seeing the new one that's coming out, the new animated. I don't know about that. And then a Lego Batgirl that my son built me, as well as the heart that he built me. And then he got me the Batgirl. What are they called? Funko Pops, the little figures. So he got me the Batgirl. So of course, I've got all of my reminders, all my Batgirls, and all that. So I've got a lot of books. I have not read all of these books. I've got a lot of Mosaic books in here as well, plus home design. I've got some cookbooks. I've got some just coffee table books on photography and business, a lot of business books here, a lot of business books here, and just like general kind of crafting. Like there's a sewing book, health. I've got a lot of health books in here. So it's kind of a mishmash, but yes, they are all kind of in rainbow order. Over here, I love notebooks, like I've said earlier. So these are notebooks. Either I've filled them up or there's still room for me to write in them. Um, and I know from my last video, I had comments. People were very concerned about this corner over here. So we will talk about it when I swing you around so you can see this. We'll talk about it. And I'll show you it's not as bad as maybe you think. But I know y'all are concerned that I can't get into those things, and we're going to talk about it. So I have more storage containers here, and this is my Dremel, glue gun, staple gun. I've got a labeler, label maker. I've got smaller nails, screws, that kind of stuff. More tools, more hand cutting tools. I do have smaller pieces of mirror, smaller pieces of clear glass. This is another Dremel here. And just general stuff in here. Paper stuff, whatever. I do have some finished items here. So, well, I've got little easels, but then I've got finished items. Letter openers, bottle stoppers, trivets, and magnets. I've got more ribbon because love my ribbon. I used to make mosaic necklaces. I don't think there are any in my shop now, but anyways, apparently I've got a bunch of necklaces there. Boxes, springtime and spheres. I've got coasters. I've got heart paperweights, glitter. I've got more hearts there, more necklaces there, coasters, ornaments. I've got a bunch of ornaments. And then this here, this is future video projects. I've got beads and I've got Christmas. I can't tell you how much Christmas I had before I went through my studio. I had 6, and now I'm down to 2, 3, 4, which is really, really good. And I think I could go through the studio again and get rid of more stuff, but I didn't want to, I was already feeling a bit overwhelmed. So, but this is pretty good. This is pretty good. Obviously, you can see underneath the TV that I have all of my flat-backed glass gems. They come in all sorts of colors. And so I used to use these a lot, and I don't use them nearly as much anymore. But again, I'm inspired by color. I love the colors. And so you never know when you're going to need them. And so they just sit here looking pretty because they are. And I enjoy, just looking over there from time to time and getting inspired and excited. So I've got this big open space here between my desk and the cabinetry. By the way, I don't think I've said it. All of these cabinets are from IKEA. All the cabinets in here are from IKEA except for the ones that I painted blue and my work table. But everything else in here is IKEA. So very inexpensive. Granted, I've got a lot of it, and I do have more coming in from my best friend who is now going to be working from home. But she closed her office. But so affordable, very affordable. But anyways, I've got this big, long, open area, and I would love for this space to be an area for meditation or prayer, quiet. And so I'd love to have like maybe a pimp mat or something that I can just, put here because I don't come over here very often. So this would be perfect to have a pimp mat where I can read or pray or meditate, just be still and quiet. Maybe if I need to take a break from tiling or whatever, but that's what I would love to do here. So I'm still working out the details in my head of what I truly want, but that's what I'm thinking. So let's address this area here. I know in my last video you guys were concerned for me and I appreciate it, and it is tight. I would say this is probably 12 inches, probably a foot, but I can easily get into these. And if it becomes a struggle or I need to get down here, I just move things out. These two cabinets here are not attached. So I can move a cabinet to get into these containers. So not worried at all. I purposely put stuff back in there that I just don't get to very often. So anyways, but thank you for your concern. But I did think that out. And it's super easy to get into there whenever I do need to get into there. So let's start over here from top to bottom. This is my Mosaic cake on a Lazy Susan, so it does spin if I want it to, but there's my Mosaic wedding cake. These are props and they make me happy. I do love plants and all of that. But I look here and it makes me happy. I love that. And so if you've seen the video that I did where I created substrates using, like after you've grouted or you've mixed up thin set and you've used everything you need and you've got leftover, I did a video where you can create substrates from the leftover thin set and grout. And so I've got a bunch of silicone molds. These are all silicone molds. In fact, look, I'll show you. Here's some hearts. Here's some hearts that I made from silicone molds. I will link that video down below. That's a fun video. But anyways, silicone molds. And then over here, I've got metal files. But then the rest of this is all of my phone and video and camera equipment. I've got a bunch of tripods, extra batteries, extra memory cards, gadgets, you name it. So that's what that is. And down here, I've got some glass substrates. I've got some wood substrates, wood beads, wood substrates. So I've got more. I know it seems weird that I have substrates over here, but clearly I was running out of space. Like I said, I could go through my studio again and get rid of more stuff. I got rid of a lot of stuff and it felt good to donate all of that. But eventually these wood substrates need to be back over with the other wood substrates. So I think we have one more area that I want to show you, right? We've hit all four corners. One more area. Check this out. Okay, so the last area that we're going to talk about is this area that's underneath my work table. And I should mention my work table is actually a dining table. And there was a store or a chain of stores here in South Florida called Mr. Pottery. And they were going out of business. And selling everything. And so this was one of their display tables, and it has been a godsend. I've had it the entire time that I've been doing mosaic art. So that's 27 years. And I still love it. I still love the detail of the legs and the color of the wood. It has taken a beating, but it's still, holding up. So I love it. And so I always have my tripod set up for, well, I shouldn't say always. Most of the time, I have my tripod set up for my sit down tutorial videos. But underneath here, underneath my work table, this is where I keep my thin set and grout that I keep in the studio. I do have the larger bags in my garage, but I keep a smaller portion in the studio. It just makes it easier to grab, but I'm also not having to keep 10, 25, or 50-pound bags of grout and thinset here in the studio. I just don't have the room for it, and I just don't want that in here. And so I also have a box of non-sanded grout. And then I have a bunch of bottles of, you guys know I love Weld Bond, and Weld Bond sent me a bunch of Weld Bond, a bunch of bottles, and I've got 2 larger jugs of them as well. But I got 12 of these, and so I keep them here. And whenever I run out, I just come and grab another one. And obviously, because I film a lot, I do have this large studio light, which just it's tucked here as close as I can to my work table, tucked out of the way, and it's fine. I don't, mess with it or whatever. But yeah, I think that that's my studio. That is it, and I am so glad that you stopped by to check out my studio tour. And I'm so excited that you finally can see everything in here. And I love this space. I love this space. Wait. One more thing. So let's talk about the flooring. Okay. So this is tile that's made to look like limestone, but it's porcelain. Porcelain is super strong. It really is the best type of flooring if you're going to do tile. And so it's porcelain, but then this is real wood. So I did porcelain with wood, and there's no grout. So I love it. I absolutely love this. I saw it, this type of flooring. I saw it in a magazine, and I decided, get as large, because this is a large area. My studio is probably about 300 square feet. And so I wanted to get a pretty large piece of porcelain tile, and then, have the wood stained, and have this in a very simple pattern. And so I love it. I love the contrast. I love the idea that it's not grouted, so the wood can expand and contract depending on the temperature or the humidity in the house. But I absolutely love it. I think it looks fresh and modern and kind of, like classic. It's like a mix, and it's durable, obviously. There are some spots where I've kind of beat it up, not on purpose, but that just from wear and tear. But I really love it. But yeah, I love the flooring. I love my space. I Would I like a bigger space? Sure. But you know what I've discovered? The more room you have for storage, the more countertop you have for storage, the more you're going to put stuff on it and the more you're going to collect. And so I feel like my studio is as big as I want to go. I do like cozy. I like I like to feel cozy in spaces, whether it's my house or my studio. I like to feel cozy. That's really what I desire. And I do feel cozy in here. I feel like I've created a space where I'm very comfortable. It's not too big. It's now that I've got it cleaned up, now it's manageable. And and so I want to keep it that way. But I really enjoy being in here. I spend most of my waking hours in here. And so it really is a space that has seen me at my highest and lowest, at my best and my worst. And It's funny how our spaces can be such an emotional, you know, thing to us. But Yeah, I love this space. I really do. It has given me so much to be thankful for. And all it is 4 walls. 4 walls with some white paint, and but it's really given me a space to be myself and to be creative, and I'm very thankful for it. So thank you for joining me today. It's been a different type of video, but I hope you'll come back if you're interested in learning how to make mosaic or whatever. But I would love for you to subscribe, to hang around, come back, and I will see you very soon. I love you. Bye. For more mosaic inspiration, check out one of these 2 videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.